I'm going to tell you about offline web applications and offline data management. Offline web applications are web pages that can be used even in offline mode. You don't have to be in online if you have just visited in that website before. When you enter the website, all the pages and content will be downloaded to your browser. And next time you come to this page or go to the or reload or whatever, all these files are immediately downloaded from your local storage or local web applications saving location. So there is only one message that is sent to the server, and that is to ask if there are newer files on this page or not. Of course, users can restrict different functionality or delete those pages from the memory. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's have an example. For example, my presentation can be also used in offline mode. If I shut down my server, I stop my Apache, I can still use this page. I can reload it, even close browser. I can still use it. I'm in offline. Okay, how about when I'm going to pages that I haven't visited or I haven't determined to be downloaded into my browser? I have visited that already. Let's go to that page that I haven't visited. And this page doesn't even exist. But it said that the page is not loaded into the cache. What happens when I turn the server? This page isn't available. So the message is changed. It shows error or what? Okay, let's go back. How does this can be done? It's very easy. We just have to create a manifest attribute in HTML5 tag and at the location where cache manifest file is found. How about the file content? As you can see, the simplest example is just that it starts with the cache manifest, and after that it tells all the files and all the other resources that need to be downloaded. This file has to be served with cache manifest content type, as you can see. Okay, how about second example? I have a cache manifest file that has a commented version hash. So I'm creating this file on a server, and I'm calculating hashes from all those files that I'm going to include. Because if the cache manifest file isn't modified, the browser will not download the new content. So it won't check if this offline or style CSS file is modified. It just checks if the cache manifest file is modified. So it's very important to keep in mind that there is no network going on between your server and the browser if this file isn't modified or no update is done. About other things that I have in here, there's a fallback. That is the file what is shown when the page is not loaded into the cache. Network, I have used JAMK, and what browser do when it sees that? It will cache all those pages that haven't been listed in this cache. So, for example, how my own cache manifest file looks like. You see. I haven't included any of my page into the cache. I'm using that all of my pages are downloaded to the cache when the user arrives there the first time. Only the resources are downloaded immediately to the cache. And that's how I'm not, the user browser doesn't have to download all the pages or the whole Wikipedia to the memory. And as you can see, it's quite simple. The most important thing is that cache manifest file has to be modified if you want to update your web page when you are using this feature. Is there any questions about this? Yeah. If user don't allow. If user don't allow the cache files to be downloaded, then it only works in online. So in online, it works like a normal web page. In fact, some browsers ask if user allows to do this. Some browsers just allow this. But user can, in browsers there are settings that you can be set that don't allow those, don't use this feature or something like that. Any more questions? Yeah. At default, it is allowed or it is asked from the user. So those are the default behaviors of the browser. But this can also be changing in any version of current browsers, but this is the current one. Yeah. So this is just a comment. Browser sees this as a comment. But when it checks if the file has modified, it comes back to the truth. Yes, it is modified, and I have to download all of these resources again. So this is just a comment. It could be any comment. It could be a version number or something else. But it's easy to use hash because hash is calculated from all the web files that I'm going to include. So it will always be different when the files are different. Any more questions? You can also ask questions in Finnish, and I'm going to translate from the English if you would like to use that. Okay, let's move forward. Web storage. Before these new features, we have used cookies as a dataset for small pieces of data. This is going to be a solution to forget those cookies and use something more, how would I say, something more specific type, or something that is intended to store the data in the first place. When it comes to the offline web applications, the default size the browsers are allowed to download is approximately 5 megabytes, but some browsers ask if there can be downloaded more resources to the cache if that is if it's needed. How about the web storage? There's a limit size between 10 and 10 megabytes. The specific they don't say that there has to be a limit size, but the browsers are limiting, and these are the default value is going between 2.5 to 10 megabytes. The data is stored with the key value pairs, so it's like you can store objects or whatever. So this is object related or developer related storage system. This default size or size limit is only concerning one domain. So if you wanna use this at very site you are administrating, the limit size or the limit, the browser will limit only for the one domain to the maximum 10 megabytes. And you can't read data from other local storage that browser has saved from another domain. But as offline web applications, user can also delete these files or use this feature. Okay, let's go forward. Indexed database. It is intended for saving hierarchical objects. So it's meant for saving a bit of load and a bit of more data on the local storage. This is pure database, so all these data and keys can be also indexed, and that's how it will work much faster, and we can do queries much faster. And when SQL database, the main chain of this specification has been dropped, so don't use this if you don't have to. Indexed database isn't supported in all browsers yet, so in some cases you have to use this. But in other way, I recommend that you use indexed database. I just going to tell you what this is, so you know if you encounter it at some point. This is SQL based relational database. So if you have used MySQL or some other SQL databases, this is very similar, and you can use it very much the same. Why the main thing the specification was dropped? Some reason was that browser vendors didn't provide their own solutions, but they used SQLite as a database engine. So let's have an example. I will as you can see, deleting all the data isn't so easy. You have to know what you are doing and where to find those. Okay, now I just have a swarm. In other browsers, like in Opera, you can see that Opera doesn't support this database. So at some point we may have to use that SQL database if we want to store a large set of data. Indexed database is supported in Firefox, Chrome, and Internet Explorer 10. Web SQL database is supported in Opera, Chrome, and Safari, if I remember correctly. So there is no combination. There is no solution to no data for all three. But what are supported are local storage and session storage. These are the web storage. Saving solutions. Local storage, the data is saved for all scripts and windows for this domain. So every script can use data from local storage if it's running in the same domain. How about the session storage? It's session related. So when I'm adding some values, as you can see, I add one. When I open this same window to a different tab, I can see that other saving solutions show that I have added one to my browser memory, but not the session storage because it's session related. So these are the same except that this is session related. Now I'm going to show how I can manage to do this. First I will show you So first I will show you what steps are needed to init those storing systems. If we are looking those if I look at those web storages, we can see that inserting data is very simple. I just type local storage dot something, and the something is the key for this. So what I'm doing when I'm clicking that add one button, in local storage and session storage, first I'm going to check if there is a value stored. If not, I'm going to yeah. If there is not anything, I'm inserting one to the local storage variable. How about if there is found, it is found something, then I'm going to read the data at one and inserting it to the same store. And after that, I will update it to the and session storage is working in the same way. Okay, let's go. And interrupt me at any time and ask questions, because I know this isn't the easiest thing to understand if you don't play with these specifications before. These are easy, but when we are going into a database, we need to get time to understand all what is happening. When the document is loaded, or the DOM is loaded, I'm just creating a on-click event for the add one button. And after that, update the UI to get data from local storage session storage. And these functions are checking if the data can be found or not. I will go to these later. How about index database? I talked about modernizer the first time these lectures. Is it familiar to you? Do you know what modernizer is? Yeah, some of you know, some of you don't. Modernizer is a JavaScript library that includes various of tests that can be checked if some feature is supported by the browser or not. With this test, I just asked Modernizer if browser support indexing database. If it does, I will initialize the database, or I will just insert the unsupported text to the page. And I'm going to do the same with the web SQL database and initial if it's necessary. Okay, let's see what these init functions are doing. This is for index database. I have used jQuery library for that, but I don't have to write all of those things that have to be done when I'm creating a database or creating connections with the database or creating object stores. So I recommend that if you want to learn how to do these things, you can do your own, you can write your own libraries or functions. But if you just want to use them, I prefer using those libraries because they are constantly evolving and adding more features and are up to date. So it's much easier to use those and just update the library file, because after that you can also use the same features as before. So I have added add-on or the framework that creates me an indexed database, index DB object. First, I will put some variables for the database. I'm telling that this database version is 2, and schema is related according to the database version. I'm using the same version for both, but I'm just showing how it can be done when you are upgrading your applications and want to create version 3 for your applications. Then you just have to create a new schema number 3 and do necessary functions to update the user's database. So this is just for handling those update processes of database updates and use. When the database is created, I create transaction object. Transaction object is needed to read and write to the database. And I'm creating it for data storage example object store. Object store is like a table in index database. It's like a table. How about when I'm creating a transaction? Then, if there are some errors, or this operation was aborted, this function will get called. I haven't included anything to that, so that's why it's just empty. But when a transaction is aborted, this function will be called. This is the function is going to be called when transaction is created. I'm going to try to add object store to the database. This will fail if database already has object store name with data storage example. But if it doesn't, I will insert a value no to the data storage example. So this is like a row. But because we are talking about objects, this is a key and this is the value. I could also add different keys at some other key and value. And all of these are found in the database. So basically, because if that object store isn't created before, this is also schema for the database object store. When the object store is created, I will call a callback function. I just pass a callback function for my init database, and this is in practice is get indexed DB value function. So I'm just updating the current data to the GUI. But if that creation fails, I will try to call that callback anyhow, because most of the cases the failing is related to that object store is already found. So if the object store is already found, this function will be explored. So I'm just trying if the callback works. If it don't, I will just tell you that there is a database error. So I'm not wanna tell some error codes to the user. I'm just telling that there's a database error. Is there any questions about this? Yeah. Yeah, because this is object based. When we are talking about database, you always should think about how to build up a schema before, because you also, if you wanna that is very efficient and quick, you have to also create the keys. So I recommend that if you have a massive JSON, you just repeat the part and create those and insert those data with a specific object store and link those things you have to link with the indexes and so on. So I don't think it's very wise to just put one big JSON to the object store, in one object store. Yeah, absolutely. Any more questions? How about this web SQL database? This looks a bit more familiar of those who have do something with the SQL related databases. I have also used JavaScript framework for doing these operations, but I don't have to write everything from the one. So it's very, I don't see why don't use this. Of course, there might be some specific things that need to be taken considered. So, and you can't use those frameworks, but in many times it is possible to use them. Okay. First, I'm sorry. At the indexing database, I also check if this database object is already found or not. If it's found, I'm not going to create a new. I'm just using the same and calling callback right away. So I'm storing this database object into this JavaScript variable, data storage point, and so on. In the REST SQL database, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just checking if the database object already is found or not. If it isn't found, I'm creating a new database. I will fill with name and size. I don't even need a one. What is it? Stop showing you how it's done. Okay. This create function tries to create a new table. it gets in succeed state if the creation was completed or table was already found. So it's always easy to create because if it isn't there, it's just created. If it is there, it's just it isn't created again, but it's still existing. After that, I'm going to check how many items are in this table. I'm going to count the rows from the data storage example table. If there is not found any rows, I will insert one row to my table. What I'm going to use is my application. Now I'm just inserting one and 0 to the data storage example. First one is the ID, and the second one is the value. If that works out, I will launch the callback function. Try to call it. And in any point, if there's any error, I will try to, I will inform the user that there was a database error. Of course, if there was found some items from the state, I'm just calling the callback right away. I'm not adding anything. Is there something you want to ask on this? These are the functions that I'm going to get data from different storages. Okay. The first one, I'm going to get the data from the local storage. First, I'm just checking if the local storage is supported. If it is supported, then I'm checking if there's any data, because before the user, if the user hasn't pressed that one button, there is this feature is supported, but data storage example of key is not yet created. So I'm just showing supported text to the user. Otherwise, I'm going to insert the value that is stored in this load of storage. The same thing is done in session phase. How many of you are familiar with this kind of with coding or this kind of checking if something is true or nothing? So you have that. This is basically test what is done if the test is true, and after that, I don't remember what this is something happening. Yeah. And this is kind of else do something that and do something. And this is the something. Then there's indexing database related functions. The first one will update the current value, what is stored in my object store in the indexing database. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow data store example database, where is object store data store example, and getting the first value from there. After that, I'm going to put some data to this object store. And I'm adding 1 to the value that is found from there. If it's after that, I'm going to update the value to the user. How I'm getting the value from the database, I'm going to do the exactly same steps, except I'm not updating, I'm just getting the data. As you can see from there, I get the data, and after that I put something to the object store just to get this value. But in this, I'm only getting the value and checking if it's if there is some value found and is greater than 0. If this I have used E as even. If this event is not set, I didn't get the object, or the object store wasn't created, or there was some kind of other things that happened that I didn't get what I wanted. So I will show database error to the user. How about updating a web SQL value? This may look a bit familiar to you because this is SQL. I'm doing a query for my web SQL database. I'm just setting or adding 1 to the current value of my row with ID is 1. I'm always using the same row and same item. I don't want to create a lot of items because this is just a demo. You can also do what kind of SQL you want. Of course, there's some restrictions because this isn't so full database as those meant to be used in server. After I do that update, I check if there's or error. If there was an error, I will show this message. If it says that it was success, there was no errors, I will check if there's rows affected. This is SQL telling me that update or insert was working. So if I'm trying to update one row, this is one if it is completed. After that, I'm getting the value and updating it to the user. How about query for getting the data? It does select, I'm just selecting the data from the data store example table. Like the ID one. And then checking if there was some result and updating the user. This is basically the idea doing this simple at one. Not so simple anymore, but still adding data. And I can use it in offline, or I can use it when I'm coming back to this page and anything about it, or something like that. So we can forget those native applications. Also, let's move forward. 5. This enables local files to be handled in browser. Especially when I'm in offline mode, I can store or reference to this file and try to upload it to the server when I'm in online mode, because I know the reference. And also I can create previews for the files, for example pictures, so that it doesn't have to be uploaded to the server and creating thumbnails or using plugins to create the preview pictures. It's handled. Let's have an example. I hope that of course, and then I'll start also go down. But it isn't a problem. I have also a single. Okay, it's doing. Good, this is good. In the first example, I'm going to just show you how to drag and drop each file to the browser, and it will show the preview picture. This example is mainly the same. I will choose the files I want to add, and it's creating preview pictures in browser. Whoa. And nothing is sent to the server. I'm still in browser, and all of these are done with the JavaScript. The other example was in one file, and it was also using drag and drop feature. Otherwise, how about files? We can also use features are similar to the files in browser. The support of this feature is very weak, only Chrome supported. So I don't recommend implement this as yet, but it's good to know. And if you are going to want to create a very massive online game or something like that, you may need these features. I will show you an example. This is just a user interface to take advantage of this file system. So this isn't the file system, this is just using the features of the file system. So it's like a Linux terminal, but it's just try to do the same things that the terminal do via file system. Oh. So let me say that, yeah. Okay, I'm going to add some files. These files, I don't like it. It says that files and do you see anything? I will try this. So it says that I have an airport file. I can also, let's say, I will create a deal directory. Now I have both of these. I can move I'm doing this wrong way. I don't want to do it right now. I don't like it. No, I just don't remember the new command because I'm not doing it. Okay, but I'm just removing the directory. And let's see, we only have an airport. And now, it's very handy if you want to create some applications that you need to use those file systems like features. It's a good file. Okay, WebSocket. This is meant for two-way communication between the client and server. Just a short question. Do you want to have a break, a short break, or do we continue? Yeah, let's have a break in this one. So let's continue after 5 minutes if that's enough for you. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. I was telling you. Okay, I was telling about WebSocket and how it's meant for two-way communications between the server and the client. For example, it can be used for real-time transmission to all of the users simultaneously. This is quite wide supported already, rather supported very well. But first persons have some security issues, but those are fixed, and the final version, I don't remember its code, but I think it's supported in every major browser nowadays. It's supported in ESN and Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Opera. Yeah. I have to say, I don't remember. I don't remember if you can communicate between one of them. I don't remember. I have to take it out. This is an example how to use WebSocket. Of course, you can do anything with WebSocket and pass any data and use it to every communication. But this, I will open this in the new browser window. Make it easier. This is the game where users can write words, and when some other user is creating words, I'm seeing those immediately. So WebSocket is used to communicate between server and server will tell that, hey, there's some other guy doing something. And there you can see where the action is happening, showing the radar and some, I don't know if there's so much something happening. If there's something happening. There. Oh. But yeah, there's something in this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know if it is. But let's use WebSocket. Just give you an idea how it's done and where it's meant to be used, for example. Let's go back. This is the last thing I'm going to show, and I'm going to show how to do offline data management or offline content management system. I haven't created functions, but just giving you the idea what can be done. First, I'm starting from HTTP. Say that it was complete and it was saved. I have Opera where I can show that, yeah, they are in the server. It was updated. How about when I'm shutting down my server? it will be synchronized to the server when the server is online. I don't check those blank page or anything else. I'm handling all the form sending process and making sure that data is not getting lost even when the network connection isn't available. For example, when you are going with train and you don't always have a very reliable internet connection, you can still do your work because you know the data will not be lost and it will be synchronized to the server when it's available. Let's see what happens when I'm closing my browser. Starting again, I'm still running Apache stop. As you can see, there is no Apache running, and it isn't answering any calls. I can even verify this with Opera. There was no connection, as you can see. Okay. It says it thinks it's in online mode because the browser didn't say that it's in offline mode. But it said that synchronization failed. It was a bit fast, so I will show you again. It tried, but it said it failed, and it will try it again later. I'm doing that synchronization only at the page load because if I would do interval time or some other time function to synchronize the data automatically between some I would say with every 3 seconds, I would have to check if the user has typing something into the form fields or editing data without sending something, because when the data is sent to the server, I'm replacing the content of this. So I just don't want to create all the fancy functions that need to be done if this would go into some real applications. Also, if this would be a real application, I would have to check if the server data has been changed since I last was in online mode. If this changed, I would just have to merge this and the server file or showing users some kind of notification about this. Okay, but now I'm enabling the starting a server again. Now it's started. What happened when I'm refreshing my page again? Or I could also hit the submit button, but I don't want to do it. Even if I'm going to the different page, the data will get sent to the server. So what happens when I'm changing the page? It says that it was completed and it worked. When I'm going back there, I see there's the word I added. This was also in last time because it was stored in browser's local storage, but it wasn't showing in Opera. So when I'm now updating, I see that there is a no need to fear network connection loss if the application is made to use all these kinds of features. So let's see how this is done, or how this is this is the example what I have written into this handling the offline content management. As I said, there is no interval synchronized data because I didn't have the time to write all those things that need to be done. Need to be done the right way. And also, I don't check if the data is modified in the server. I'm just updating it, even if someone else has done something to it. First, I have some variables. For example, I'm creating this variable check if there is some data pending or pending string. I have this variable to tell if the user has clicked or sent the form, or if it is my automatic synchronization function on the page load. And some server tools and so on. I'm using AX as sending and receiving the data from the server. I could also use a WebSocket or whatever. There's also some messages I'm showing when it's necessary. In some process, there is a different mode for online and offline working. For example, in Opera, I can change that work without a network connection. Says that I'm in offline mode now. This calls certain event that I'm handling here. Let me show you the I find when online and offline events are called, I'm doing something. So browser thinks it in online mode, even if the server or network connection is down. It doesn't know if it's really online or offline. Thus, this user action will get that mode working, or telling the browser that it's in offline or online mode. So you can rely that event, but you have to check if there is really a network connection or not. But the online mode isn't online mode every time. It just assumes that there might be a possibility that we have a network connection. As you see that change to online mode when it's go away. Okay. First, I'm going to check the page load if there is some data waiting to be synchronized. This is done. First, I'm checking if the browser supports local storage. If it does, I check if there is set some keys. So basically, these are my title and content. I just used HTML because I also, in some point, I also have used as an example TinyMCE or some other editor in this. So this was HTML content, but I don't want to include all those content JavaScript frameworks because we don't need those features in this. So don't get confused. HTML is meaning content in this context. Yeah. As I said, there is even for the online and offline mode. But this is just what the browser tells you. You can't rely on this data. And it won't tell you if you're offline, if the network connection is down. Just if only when the user has manually changed browser state in this online or offline mode. Of course, it could be automatic. It could be done automatically. For example, a device, a browser could ask the device if it has a network connection and maybe state accordingly, but it isn't happening right now. Why I have to take it into the computer. And I'm doing the same check in the online and offline mode, so I'm checking if there is some data that needs to be sent. And trying to send the data to the server when the browser says it's back online from offline mode. Don't mind this, these are just popping out those messages and so on. When the page loads, I'm sending data to the server. I haven't to create functions of these same things that I've done across the script, that it is easier to follow what is happening. But you don't always have to check what the function is keeping inside. I'm doing these things only when I'm in this, when this form is found. Just checking if there's found form ID is CMS. So basically, if you haven't used jQuery before, I'm just asking or making a CSS like whoever the object I want to pick up. When when it's found, when a form is found, I'm inserting values to the form. I'm calling the place content form function that send either offline or online data to the form. So if there is no network connection, I'm checking it with this function. And here are some things that I'm doing when the user clicks submit. I'm just stripping some data from a form that has been typed. So I'm just allowing letters and numbers. These are the codes for the absentee. How do you like it? I don't know what. So like and so on. After that, I'm checking if application cat is supported. That means it's offline web application. So can the page be used in offline, even in the offline mode. And if the local storage is supported and the browser tells that I'm in offline mode. So I'm just saving data locally. The user is telling me that it's offline. I don't even have to test if the server is available. I'm just saving the data to the local storage. That's so cool. Let's contact the form. Is the functions to get data from the server. So every time the user enters the page, I'm checking is there some data that has to be sent to the server. There is, I'm trying to send it. Otherwise, I'm loading current values to the form either from the server or from the local storage. If user is in offline mode, I don't even try to load the data because it's certain user is in offline mode because the browser is not allowing any internet access. Else I'm going to try to get data from the server. Just doing and updating the form when the data is actually sent to the server and the data is found from the response. Yeah. Yes, as I told before, there is no such but it could be easily done with this. I would be get data at this point that there's some other users that have this that has been modified, or in saving mode I could be easily check if data is modified and then do something, either merge the data automatically or create some kind of pop-up to let the user check all of this data and make a merge himself. So if the data is found, then I'm getting it from the server. If it doesn't, and the local parts are set, so something went wrong, but the local parts are, the local values are found, I'm just inserting them to the form. And the form inserting function is quite easy. I'm just doing the same data cleanup so that even if someone passes validations in front side and server side and has access to the database itself, even the database data is clean before inserted to the GUI. So this is the checks and cleanups in everywhere that we can be sure that there is no weak points at anywhere in our system. So there is harmful code can never be inserted to your user, even if other database access and data there is via the rules. Okay, how about sending data to the server? First, I'm inserting fast data to the local storage. So I'm just inserting it right away. And if there is data to be synchronized, I saw some notifications to the user. I said that I will try this application is trying to synchronize the data. After that, it says, yeah, I'm sending data via post. So if server responds, I'm checking if data was correct type, and there wasn't any errors, but I was really getting what I wanted. And in this point, I could easily check that, okay, some other user has modified the data and the response was accordingly and do what I want. If data was saved, I'm just putting values to the GUI and creating some messages. And I'm removing those broken storage keys created so that there is so that the data is not kept from there at the server. Yeah, but just notifications if the user has clicked submit button, or was it done with automatically by synchronization. As I said, on error, I'm just handling error occasions accordingly. So there was a timeout error. It means that there was a timeout error. I have set the timeout to be in 3 seconds. So if server doesn't respond in 3 seconds, I will get this error. And after that, I'm inserting data to the local storage and with some variables on messages and so on. So it's quite easy and quite easily to be done. Of course, it needs action validations and a lot of testing and so on, but it isn't very hard thing to do. Applications that working only offline and can even have a content management system which works in online or in offline. There are some questions about this. Yeah, I'm putting it. Like first, I will putting into the same address, just replacing introduction to offline. So you can see how all of this is done and try it yourself. Is there any more questions? If not, there is no more things about offline or creating offline web applications or creating offline content management. So this is it, and those features are the most important things that you have to keep in mind when you are creating offline applications.